When's the owl review coming?
Soon. How soon?
Becca Mitchell, played by Anna Kendrick, is an 18-year-old DJ arriving at Barton University with the hopes of becoming a music producer. She has a disapproving professor for a father, an unseen stepmother she abhors, a mildly cantankerous roommate, and she's on course for a pretty average college experience. But that all changes after a random, uncomfortable encounter in a public shower facility with Chloe Beale, played by Brittany Snow, the co-leader of the Barton Bellas, a competitive a cappella group. After hearing her singing Titanium by David Guetta and Sia, she insists that Becca audition for their group. Her audition goes adequately, but Chloe and her fellow leader Aubrey Posen, played by Anna Camp, are a little desperate after an unfortunate incident the year before. So they need all the help they can get. Bros. The humor in this film is pretty spot on for the most part. I'm not the easiest to please when it comes to comedy, but this movie actually did make me chuckle more than a few times. One joke I especially love is a bit near the end where Aubrey is yelling at everyone for not being up to snuff, and then singles out two particular characters by saying, "It's like you haven't even been here for the entire year!" The joke there being that those two characters have been given all the focus of a 4-year-old hopped up on their favorite caffeinated drink. The character of Becca is one I have a love-hate relationship with. If it weren't for Anna Kendrick's charisma as a leading woman, I'm not sure I like her as much as I do. But Anna really brings a lot of wit to her. In an early scene, Aubrey lectures Becca about her blurtmance with Jesse, another prominent character in the film, noting that you can't pursue a relationship with members of their rival group on campus. Becca replies that that very rule just cost Aubrey 2 other members, which makes it pretty clear that Aubrey needs her more than Becca needs Aubrey. The one and thankfully only Rebel Wilson as Bad Amy. This chick makes you love her right out of the damn gate. When she introduces herself to Aubrey and Chloe, they immediately ask why she calls herself Bad Amy, and she replies,
"Yeah, so twig bitches like you don't do it behind my back."
If I had to pick a favorite character in the movie, I think I'd choose her just because she's so upfront and no bullcrap. She just tells you what's on her mind, and I love it. I don't particularly like Aubrey as a character, but I don't think she's meant to be all that likable. She's a very stuck-up and rude character who has a very clear rivalry with Becca, but I kind of like the justification for her perfectionist attitude throughout the film. Not only did she blow her group's chances of winning last year, among other things, but she seems to have had a less than supportive father growing up, given some of the sayings she mentions him having. She's the designated jerk-off character for a comedy who impedes the main character by design, but she's probably the most sympathetic version I've ever seen. Chloe is a perfectly nice person, but I can't say she's my favorite character. Despite being the co-chair of the group, she doesn't ever really try to discuss any decision Aubrey makes without her until the end of the film. But I think I can understand why. They're obviously close friends, or else why would they be co-chairs? And Chloe obviously realizes how important this is to Aubrey, so she's willing to swallow her pride and let her friend try to achieve redemption for a mistake she made last year. Skylar Astin's Jesse Swanson is my kind of guy. He's introduced by singing along and air guitaring to Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas, and later expresses his undying love for movies. He's also probably the nicest dude in the movie. When Aubrey is yelling at Becca for her relationship with him, Jesse pipes up to defend her by insisting they haven't really done anything together. In fact, Jesse shows himself to be a stand-up guy throughout the movie. He flirts with Becca plenty, but he never does anything to make her genuinely uncomfortable. Good on you, pal. You know, I've only ever seen one episode of Workaholics, and I've never really cared for it. I'm not sure if I would enjoy the show as a whole or if I just caught one bad episode, but Adam Devine is hilarious. He kind of plays the cocky jerk-off character who acts all big and bad, and then tries to come up with an excuse, a really pathetic excuse as that, to avoid a fight. My favorite scene of him is one pretty late in the movie that I won't spoil, but if you've seen it, well, this picture will let you know what I mean. I'm reasonably sure none of these actors are trained singers, save for maybe Anna Kendrick, but they all do a pretty good job. I mean, granted, these guys were probably all hanging out in a recording studio for a weekend, where they were given the chance to come up with the best take, and none of the live performances in the film were ever actually live. But still, in a movie about a series of singing competitions, I'd say it's a pro to have people who can actually sing okay. Cons. Becca acts like a jerk to Jesse a lot in this movie, and I really don't know why. That scene I mentioned earlier where he sticks up for her in front of Aubrey, Becca's first response is to call Jesse out for the crime of, I don't know, supporting her, I guess? For trying to make sure her crazy group chair doesn't boot her out for something she didn't do. And furthermore, why does Jesse even like Becca when she's always so rude to him? Like, get a clue, pal. Find a nicer girl to bother. There's a few gross out gags here where a character projectile vomits. And I have to admit, I do not like gross out humor. I just don't see why it's supposed to be funny. It's just uncomfortable to watch, honestly. I don't know why it's here. It's just awkward. Pitch Perfect is a lot of fun. It's not my favorite comedy, but I think it's my favorite movie that I can watch with my sister. I picked up this movie for her as a Christmas gift back in 2012, and I was in a very grumpy, disinterested phase for whatever reason. So Christmas Day comes, and we all sit down to watch the movie, me, my mom, and my sister, and I found that I actually really liked the movie. So with that said, I'm going to give Pitch Perfect a 3 out of 5. Today was also my dear sister's special day, so I just want to say I love you, sis, and happy birthday. Leave me some comments if you're interested, like my video if you feel so inclined, and subscribe if you want to. And have a nice day. What's Doc out.